international developments there because Iran is now witnessing its most serious wave of nationwide unrest witnessed in years, as protests triggered by collapsing economy have now escalated to open calls to overthrow the Islamic Republic. What began on the 28th of December in Tehran's main markets after the Iranian rial that had plunged a record low has now spread to across all 31 provinces. Tensions that have now prevailed as far as city after city there protests have been taking place, where tens of thousands of people have now taken to the streets despite widening security crackdown and a sweeping internet and international phone blackout. Protests have also entered now the second week, which much of the crowd there that are marching in Tehran, in Mashhad, in all the major cities, chanting slogans against the Islamic Republic. However, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has now accused the protesters of acting on behalf of foreign powers, warning that they will be dealt with. Meanwhile, European Union has now urged all sides to exercise maximum restraint and has condemned any use of excessive force against demonstrators. Adding to the tensions, Iran's official government account on X briefly displayed its pre-revolution flag, prompting an IRGC-affiliated outlet to label foreign interference in Iran's internal affairs. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump has warned that Iran is facing serious trouble once again if they're raising the possibility of a possible American action. Speaking on the escalating unrest in Iran, President Trump says that the situation appears to be rapidly deteriorating, with protesters taking control of cities that were considered unthinkable just weeks ago. Trump says the United States is now closely monitoring the developments and has issued a strong warning to Tehran.
So Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me that the people are taking over certain cities that nobody thought were really possible just a few weeks ago. We're watching the situation very carefully. I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts. And that doesn't mean boots on the ground, but it means hitting them very, very hard where it hurts. So they've done a bad job. They've treated their people very badly, and now they're being paid back. So let's see what happens. We're watching it. We're watching it very closely.
Meanwhile, senior Iranian official and ideologue Hassan Rahimpour Asghari has now said that Iran should capture U.S. President Donald Trump just like what he did to Maduro. And as far as saying that due to Trump what was done to Maduro, that is now coming in response to the stand that Washington has taken, saying that given Trump's stance, any kind of operation inside the U.S. territory in all of its states and cities, including destructive operations like those they carry out there, would be permissible against the American officials and those linked to them. Well, such kind of threats and provocations, Rishabh, that is now coming in as far as when it comes to the Iranian side. They are wanting that the same thing should happen with Trump, what he did to Maduro. We're looking at as far as interference on part of foreign affairs. That seems to be the allegation that has been also leveled by Khamenei.
Well, one thing is very clear. Iran doesn't want to go down lying low. That is something which is very clear. The top leadership of Iran has been warning U.S. For any untoward incident if they intervene in Iran. And now officials have said that why not we abduct Donald Trump the way he abducted Maduro and send a message to the United States. So that is something that is happening on the diplomatic level, where U.S. is openly threatening Iran of intervention, saying that the way things are getting chaotic in Iran, it requires a U.S. intervention, and it might be possible that if need be, U.S. intervenes in Iran. On the other hand, Iran has been saying that, we'll do what U.S. did to Maduro, and we might capture Trump also. Amid all this, when there's war of words between Washington and Tehran, amid all this, what's happening in Iran? Iran is on boil. 31 of all of the provinces, for that matter, all the 31 provinces of Iran are right now facing a protest. The protests are so much so that many provinces have lost the IRGC control as well, and IRGC are not in control in most of the provinces. Now, Reza Pahlavi, the son of the last Shah of Iran, had just tweeted saying that he would like to return, the statement from him that he wants to return to Iran and be beside the protesters showcases the confidence now that the Pahlavi family also have, that looks like their time has again come. So remains to be seen how things unfold, what lies ahead for Iran.
Yes, he's been also giving an open call to protest there. But when we also talk about how the situation has been rapidly developing, as far as multiple cities now that we are reporting in Iran, there are protests and violent protests that has now been reported on ground. The supreme leader of Iran, he seems to have issued another warning there, as Khamenei has come out with another statement saying that there would be no mercy for foreign mercenaries, and issuing this warning amid ongoing unrest. Tehran has now flagged foreign hand. We've seen that consistently as far as Khamenei is concerned. He seems to be of the opinion that the protesters are ruining their own streets for Donald Trump. And he now seems to be saying that this is nothing but foreign interference that has now marked the unrest. However, they are also accepting, Rishabh, that economic crisis and inflation are one of the major trigger factors there. But the benefit that foreign agencies, foreign hand, in particular the US, now seems to be taking of Iran's internal crisis.
Well, see, this is something that the leadership in Iran understands, that they are walking on a very thin ice. Inflation, unemployment, the rising prices, the cost of living in Iran has, touched the roof, and that's the reason that people came out on the street for the first time. The way initially the protests looked, it looked like earlier protests from 2022,
yes,
or for that matter before that. Which
so please do stay on with us. We're just trying to get a better understanding of how the situation is rapidly changing in Iran. Mr. Fabian is also connected with us. Mr. Fabian, amid all of the protests, here is the US president saying that Tehran is in big trouble there, and he doesn't rule out a possibility of American intervention.
Yes, he hasn't ruled it out, and he has repeated it more than once. Protests in Iran are widespread, and perhaps, as somebody was putting it, all sort of layers of the society, so to say, including the merchants, because the shopkeepers find that nobody is buying anything from their shops. But as regards Trump, we should also take note that he said that this is not the time to meet with Reza Shah, the son of the late Shaheen Shah, who is in Washington, around there. And so he's sort of giving some more time, and there are
Continues to be with us. And speaking of Donald Trump, well, he's also now set his eyes on Greenland. So let's now shift